Welcome to BC Spirits, episode number 13. I know I was away last week. I didn't do an episode. I hope it didn't hurt your feelings too much. I tried to get one done before I left for Lisbon last week, and it just didn't happen. And I apologize. I know this is the second time it's happened. But it's episode 13, so that might be a lucky, unlucky thing. I'm not sure. I am leaving for Singapore on Saturday, so I'm trying to get 5 weeks worth of episodes done before I leave to make sure that I don't miss a single thing. I know that I'm doing this episode on Akvavit, mainly because I love Akvavit and I think it's one of my favorite spirits, and I think we've got a lot of them in BC and a lot of people don't know about Akvavit. I always get the question, what is it? But I'm hoping on Friday this week, I'm hoping to sit down with West at Olo, who runs the bar at Olo restaurant, and we're going to sit down and taste a whole bunch of stuff on their back bar because they're a hardcore, locally focused spirit bar, or they're a restaurant with a great local focus on the bar. So I want to sit down, and Westy's one of my best friends, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down with him and seeing what his favorite things on his back bar are. And but let's get into episode 13. Akvavit today. I've got a couple of Akvavits here. There's only about 3 or 4 in BC right now. I'm tasting 4 today. Akvavit is very similar to gin in the way that it's an aromatized spirit. Gin is juniper forward, mainly from Geneva and so on and so forth through to London dry gin. Whereas Akvavit is Nordic, so it's from Scandinavia, so Norway, Denmark, Iceland, so on and so forth in Scandinavia, and it's dill and caraway forward. So it's dill and caraway forward, especially for the food they have, pickled fish and pickled herring and stuff like that. This goes really, really well, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Drinking Akvavit. I fell in love with Akvavit in Iceland in 2015 with Brenneman. But then I sort of started drinking more Swedish Akvavits and Norwegian Akvavits and Linny and barrel aged and so on and so forth. And so that came to me in 2016 to create an Akvavit with a local distillery. And I know that I've always done some tastings and I'm always like, oh, well, this one I created myself. This is another one of those, unfortunately. I'm sorry. It is the Sheringham Akvavit. Get that there. So, major award-winning Sheringham Akvavit. We did this. I did this with Jay up there, and it's just done really, really well. And it's obviously I'm going to start with that nice palate cleanser. I know what it tastes like. It's extremely hard. I just signed a contract this week to develop my 5th BC spirit. My 4th, the Steelhead Wild Blue Blackberry Gin, came out last week, just before Mother's Day. And I just signed a contract with Divine to do a brandy with them, which is a 3 to 5 year project. So I'm making a lot of spirits because I find a spirit that I really love, and I'm like, you know what, I need to get this made, and I make it with the distillery, and so this was one of them. And dill caraway, obviously, the big one in this one is the winged kelp that is in a lot of their seaside gin and stuff like that. On the nose, you just get that really aromatic dill and angelica straight off the hop. Caraway's in the background with the star anise. Now, traditionally, Akvavit would be served ice cold in the freezer, and drunk as a shot or sipped slowly. There's not a lot of white spirits out there that are socially acceptable to sip by themselves. Akvavit is one of them, and the Sheringham is just a delight. Bright citrus tones from the lemon peel and that sort of thing. The next one up is actually one that definitely inspired me in the mouthfeel texture ways, because when we did it, we sort of like tasted a whole load of Akvavits, and this was one that really showcased. This one's the Aquavitus. So as you can see, Akvavit can be spelled a multitude of different ways. If you actually go on Wikipedia and type in Akvavit, it will actually show you 15, 16, 20 ways to spell Akvavit in different dialects. Aquavitus from Okanagan Spirits. So it's a grain-based again. Caraway, fennel, coriander, anise, dill, juniper berry. Now juniper can be an Akvavit, but usually it's a more of a subdued partnering flavor over being like in the forefront like gin. Oh, on the nose straight away you get the more fennel and fennel and coriander on the nose. Hints of the dill and the caraway, but definitely the fennel, like sweet fennel bulb or fennel frond. The texture for this goes for days. Really textural, very mouth-filling, very clean. It's using a special, they use artisanal well water out there. So you have to think of the water like, when it goes into the bottle, it's 68-70% alcohol. When it gets put down to 40, 30% of that bottle is water. So it really depends on what water you're using to cut your spirit with. And you get this beautiful mineral, wet concrete at rainfall sort of taste to this one. And it just finishes really clean. And the caraway stays on your tongue. Whew. But texture for days from the Okanagan Spirits Aquavitus. The next one's a tiny dinky little bottle. The Table Akvavit. So these guys were maybe the second people to do one. Now, actually we'll talk about that one then. So there's the second one. 42% alcohol. And if my memory serves me correctly, a lot of anise and a lot of fennel. Yeah, straight off the hop. Rich fennel, like, goes back to that fennel fronds, wild fennel that you have grown on the side of the street. Little, almost minty, mentholy on the nose. Very different to what I remember. In a good way. The star anise has been pulled back from what I remember. The caraway and orange is much more prominent. The dill is sort of dancing in there. The anise is definitely pulled back a lot more in this than I remember tasting years ago. The orange actually comes through really nicely, like biting into an orange peel, like through the flesh, but then you've got that dill, you've got the caraway, you've got the fennel there. The star anise, that sort of thing. I'm really happy with how that's balanced out now. Maybe it's just the direction I've taken it in. But yeah, orange and anise and all that sort of stuff. Really textural. Delightful. So we're going to go into one new one. There's a couple that I haven't got. Well, they're sub-brands, I suppose. So the Sheringham has laid some of their Akvavit down in red 5 barrels. I'm not sure when Jay's looking at releasing that, but I'm hoping to be soon because I really would like to try that. Long Table does their barrel-aged Akvavit out of the distillery store. Obviously, because they're in Vancouver, it's very difficult sometimes for me to get the really crazy stuff that they have. But the barrel-aged Akvavit they have is really tasty. Has a nice little, like, with that orange and the fennel and everything, the vanilla from the barrel just sort of cleans it up real nicely. But I thought, well, I've got a barrel-aged Akvavit now. I know I've tasted it before. I tasted it with the barrel-aged gin episode. But I thought, well, you know what? It's a white unicorn. You can never plug white unicorns or white whales enough. It's the Deep Cove barrel-aged Akvavit. This is extremely difficult to get. Now, I'm not 100%... I haven't seen it. It may be wrong. And if I'm wrong, Deep Cove, please comment on the below. I don't believe that they actually do their Akvavit solo. Maybe they do. They have a Mediterranean gin that I'd love too. But I haven't seen their Akvavit on the shelves anywhere in Victoria. So maybe it's just that Vancouver-Victoria crossover thing. Like, a lot of brands don't make the trek across the water. But this one, the barrel-aged, it's just an absolute delight. Like, if you find a bottle, I got a bottle at, if you're on the island anyway, Spinnakers and Vic West. I got a bottle there. I believe I saw another case on the shelf when I was there last. So go and get a bottle. It is the white unicorn of barrel-aged Akvavits in BC right now. The barrel-aged from Long Table, only available at the store. I'm hoping very soon that the barrel-aged Sheringham Akvavit will be out, and I really can't wait to taste that. I really should text Jay and see where that's at. Oh, it's like rye pumpernickel bread, like rye bread, like that, very caraway and dill, but the beautiful spice and woodiness of the barrel is just coming through like in a way that it literally tastes like rye bread. It's really crazy. But again, please get a bottle. Actually, start getting a bottle of all this. If you want to know how to use Akvavit the way you would use gin. In a gin and tonic, do an Akvavit tonic, an A&T. Give it a try, play around with the tonics. Fever Tree, Fenimans, all these different tonic brands have really got a whole bunch of tonics out now, so go looking for tonic. Do not use Canada Dry or some generic bullshit tonic. Go out and find a really good artisanal tonic, maybe from Phillips something like that, and try your gin and tonics, but swap out the Akvavit. It's a good mix. But I do apologize again for last week. I promise I'm going to be better. I promise. Please forgive me. Thank you for all the support for BC Spirits. Go out and support your local distilleries. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.